first look at our weekend storm which is going to happen on Saturday, December 5th, mostly in the afternoon into the overnight. It looks like at this point, looks like it will be our first accumulating snowstorm, or at least our first that's more than just a slushy inch or two, although exactly how much that is, and even if we get any snow at all, is still a little bit undetermined, which is unusual at 48 hours out. But this storm is very sensitive, and the track spread is still wide enough that we could get anywhere from certainly some accumulating snow to there is a possibility that everything kind of shifts east of us. So let's take a look at what's going on. We've got these two major pieces of energy. This piece here, which is very easy to see at the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, which has slowly been meandering its way from the desert southwest east across the southern United States. We've got this little harder to more subtle piece of energy that is swinging through the Great Lakes now, and then we've got another reinforcing piece of energy to the north of that. And these two pieces, and then eventually this piece too, are going to kind of combine and spawn a storm which will be developing tomorrow, and actually is already starting to develop, or at least this piece of energy is developing a storm across the Mississippi River Valley now. That will translate to a storm off the coast, which will then track east of New Jersey. Now the question is how far east, and then it'll either track across Cape Cod and into the Gulf of Maine. That would be a very snowy situation for us. Or it will track east of Cape Cod and towards down east Maine. That is a much less snowy situation for us. So in terms of storm tracks, let's look at what that means. Basically, this inside track here would be the snowier track. That's about as the models that have been most bullish on snow have shown this kind of a track, basically from just southeast of New York City. This would be at about, this would be Saturday morning, and then to Sunday morning or Sunday or overnight Saturday night, we'd be here in the Gulf of Maine. That's a very snowy track for us. And I don't think that's a likely track, but it's kind of it's still possible, sort of. And then the more likely track, although not quite this far east, I think is something not quite this far east, but close to this far east, which is basically 150 miles east of this first track, a ways off the shore of New Jersey, well southeast of Nantucket and of Cape Cod, and up into the Gulf of, or not to the Gulf of Maine, but towards down east Maine. This track, it does give us, well, if we had a storm that took this exact track, actually, we'd probably end up with no snow. I do think it'll be a little further west than this most eastern track, and which is why I do think we will still get some accumulating snow. What does that look like in terms of accumulations? Again, these numbers are very subject to change, but it's only 2 days out, so I wanted to give you some idea of what we're talking about. I think what's reasonable at this point, which is 2 to 4 inches across the basically the spine of the Green Mountains here, 1 to 3 inches east of the Green Mountains, and about an inch or so west of the Green Mountains. Basically, the further east you go, in general, the more snow you're going to get, except terrain will definitely enhance the snow a little bit as well, as we get these northeast winds, and they do create some upslope across the mountains and kind of enhance the snowfall a little bit. These numbers could go down dramatically. They could basically, if the most of the models that are still reasonable to expect, we could end up, all the snow basically ends up happening in eastern Massachusetts and eastern New Hampshire and Maine. That's definitely still a possible track. So by tomorrow, you may see my forecast. I might put out another forecast, and it might say, essentially, we're not getting any snow. The storm could still end up coming a little closer than I think it's going to right now, in which case these numbers would go up pretty significantly. The National Weather Service does have a winter storm watch out for us, so they're obviously thinking it's at least possible that we get more snow than the totals I'm showing here. But as of right now, a little bit bearish in terms of how much snow I think we're actually going to get out of the storm. Let's look at some quick details of what's going on with the forecast. Like I said, still lots of uncertainty. Snow begins late morning Saturday, continues through the evening. So travel would basically, I think, be worse Saturday afternoon. I think anytime after 2 p.m. on Saturday, it could be a little slick out there. Heavier snow further east and in the higher elevations, and breezy winds from the northeast. For further updates, I'll have my weekend forecast tomorrow morning. It'll be out by 7 a.m. And so that will include lots of details about this forecast, and it will include the updated model runs from overnight, so that'll be helpful. And I will definitely put out some sort of video, probably brief, updating what's going on tomorrow evening with the daytime models from yesterday. hopefully by tomorrow morning, but really hopefully by tomorrow evening, we have some model consensus on what's going to happen, and I'll be able to give you a little bit more in terms of the certainty. I do think the snow looks like it won't be heavy wet, at least heavy wet to the point that if we did get more of it, I don't think power outages will be an issue. So if you're worried about that at all, if you have questions or anything like that, feel free to ask in the comments, the YouTube comments here. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you're interested in helping to support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy, you can check out my Patreon page or check out this video that I've got here that describes what I do as a patron or what a patron is. And also you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. That just helps make sure that you get my videos, and it helps other people discover my videos as well. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with a look at the weekend.